if you've never done a new build or a new construction, which a lot of people haven't when they're doing something like this, you don't even know what you could negotiate.
Welcome, everyone, to the Closing Table Podcast, real accounts from real estate professionals, brought to you by WindowStill. I'm your host, Kat Schooler, and today I'm sitting down with real estate agent Alexis Sprankle. Alexis is an agent in the Metro Detroit area with eXp Lux Group, and today we talk about the biggest lessons she's learned in her real estate career and what it was like for her starting her career pretty much right out of high school. We talk about now that she's established her real estate success, how she's starting to mentor others in starting their real estate journeys. And we talk about the importance of buyer representation in new construction and how she's helped clients navigate the inevitable hiccups that come in new construction builds. So without further ado, let's chat with Alexis. Alexis, thank you so much for joining me today. I'd love to kick it off and tell everybody how you got started in real estate.
Yeah, so luckily, I had a great mentor that in high school, a family friend of mine, I watched her grow. Her name is Trisha Dork from Elite Realty. So I watched her grow on Facebook. We came from the same town, and just like, I don't know, watching her career grow in real estate and like watching it from the sidelines, I don't know, it just really called to me, and I just stepped into it really right after high school. Um, because like I said, I had watched her on social media and Facebook for a while. And, I got in contact with her. And that's kind of how it all began, really.
That's so cool. So it's kind of was your first career, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really full circle too, because like I said, I started real estate watching someone on social media, and now my business is so social media based that it's just very like full circle moment.
Cool. I love that. Okay, so speaking of social media, like what are you seeing as like trending in the real estate world? Like how are you connecting with people? Like what does your social media look like?
Well, what I love about social media is that people can obviously get to know you. And, if they're going to work with you, they want to know you, like you, trust you. And social media gives them, a piece of your life and an insight on like who you are and personality. And I feel like connecting like with people and your clients, especially, is the biggest part. So it just allows me to do that. But the biggest thing I'm seeing, I feel like, is reels and videos is the most popular way to do that. And yeah, to touch on, real estate being my first career, I started when I was like 19. So I was 19 turning 20. So it was very early on that I became a realtor.
And so did you have this friend mentor you? Did you have other mentors? Like how did you find your way?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, I started at Elite Realty with Trisha Dork, and Andy Borzacek was one of my mentors as well. And they're just really great leaders, and they know, real estate like the back of their hand. So it just taught me a really good blueprint, and foundation of my business. So I'm very lucky to have met them and have that.
What would you say were some of the key takeaways you took from their mentorship?
I would, I guess I would say like how important like just bringing value to your clients are. A heart of service, and just like really like backing what you're saying with like the knowledge, like really knowing your stuff. If yeah, because it gives you that type of confidence. So I would say those things are the top.
And then, like, to tie it back to kind of your social media pursuits, is that the kinds of things you're making sure you're showing on your pages, on your profile?
Absolutely. Yeah. What I have learned early in my career is something that I really held on to. If it works, it works. So you keep doing that. But yeah, absolutely. You just want to provide, value to the people that are watching your page in any way you can, because if you can educate them on the process, whether it's home buying or selling and inspections, if they know what to expect, they have a little bit less anxiety moving forward, and they feel more comfortable like asking you more in-depth questions because you're talking about, what they're curious about.
For sure. So, speaking of clients, What is it like for someone to work with you when you sit down at that first meeting or that first phone call? Like, what are you talking about with them? What are you making sure you're covering?
Oh, I'm a talker, so we cover everything. No. But like I said, education is really like at the top of, my service. So we meet, whether that be a seller or buyer consultation, we go over the whole process, so they know exactly what to expect, start to finish. We go over their story, why they're moving, why they're starting this next chapter, what's important to them. Of course, like my end is a little bit boring talking about, appraisals and inspections, whereas, moving their family because, they need a new school district or just a new area is, that's a huge part of the process as well, because, I want to understand why they're moving so I can, better understand their emotional needs too.
Oh, that's really, yeah, that's a really big part of this real estate journey. It gets very emotional for people in a lot of, I think, unexpected ways. So, how do you kind of navigate that emotional journey with your clients?
Well, I don't know, to begin, like I've been told that realtors should take the emotion out of their business and with their clients. And I would have to say I disagree with that in a sense, because I would rather be like emotionally invested into them and into what they're looking to do, in their game plan and their story. Um, but while I, want to be emotional with them, I'm excited and happy that their offer is, got accepted, or they're anxious what comes next. It's important that like I have that, unbiased opinion. And again, educating them on like what's best in their situation, doing their due diligence, how we make the best offer, and keeping, kind of like a firm head in that sense. But I feel like it is important to kind of combine both so you understand what they're going through on the other side, on like the buy or sell side, because it's a process.
Totally. And you're building that relationship as well.
Yes, 100%. And I work with a lot of, referral clients, past clients. So, a lot of these people I know already a little bit, but, buying or selling a home, it's a whole other ballpark. It's such like an in-depth and serious part of their life, and, their transition maybe into a new step or new career, or, maybe adding someone to the family, or so it's really fun, and it's really important to cover that too.
Do you have any like very memorable client stories, that you help them like buy or sell their home?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, really, so many special stories, I would have to say. But recently, I had the opportunity of helping a family. So they actually already lived. So the mom and dad lived next door to their son and his wife and their two daughters, which was so cool. So they shared, they had their yards opened, and they were looking to sell both homes right next to each other to be able to move in together into a larger home in the Howell area, with more acreage, like just a bigger home altogether to combine both families, so the son and wife could like take care of their mom and dad as, they got older, and, get the kids into a great school district and just the area that they wanted to be. So as it was like a lot of moving pieces, it was just such a cool transaction. And it was just a beautiful thing they were doing, like combining the generations. It was really sweet.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, it was fun. Like I said, that it was a lot to it. It definitely wasn't an easy process, obviously selling two homes and then having to buy another one, and an hour away, but we did it and it worked, and they're getting the keys to their home tomorrow, so I'm very excited for them.
Oh, yes. Congratulations to all of you guys.
Thank you.
What a great story.
Yes, I appreciate that. It was really cool, and just being a part of that for them makes me so happy. I would love one day to do the same with my parents and move them into my home, and take care of them. So I just love it. It was really special.
when you're talking about kind of your area of coverage, like some real estate agents like keep it very small. So you talk about, helping a family in one area and then move an hour away. Like you're kind of Metro Detroit based. So do you cover a big span?
So I grew up in Redford Township. I live in Farmington Hills, but I will kind of go. I would guess I would say like a 50-mile radius. So I focus on Wayne and Oakland County, and those are like my main places. But if it's for family or friends, like I have sold homes in Traverse City. I have like sold in what's it, Marathon Township, Luther. So a little bit of everywhere, but try to keep it more home based in like Wayne and Oakland County.
And then what is your favorite part of selling in like the Metro Detroit area?
Uh, I mean, what I really love about it is, so like I said, I'm from Redford, so I really do have that like hometown connection. Like I know a lot of these cities just like the back of my hand. So it's nice that I can, help my clients understand the neighborhoods and like where they're moving to and what great places to eat, like Sandy's by the beach or just things like that. And more than that too, I know a lot of these people, so it's just such a good, I don't know, it feels really good to help the people I know and be able to do that. And I don't know, I think that's my favorite part, I guess, is just being able to help the people I know, like when they come to me and like ask questions about the process, or they're nervous, they don't know what selling their home looks like, and how that works. I like to be that helping hand, and especially like in the area I've grown up in. It's yeah, I love it. I love real estate.
Are you seeing any myths about real estate out there that you would like to bust?
Oh man. I feel like that it's easy, with social media. Obviously there's realtors, and just the way social media is set up makes our job look very easy, but I guess it is not that. You don't see the obviously like long hours of showing, from 4 to 8 o'clock, from 8 a.m. to 1, driving multiple miles, and the phone calls, the negotiations behind the scenes. You just don't see those emotional phone calls. Um, so it's a lot. I guess the biggest myth that I would say is that people think it's easy, and there's just so many steps that come that are part of it. And as realtors, we like to make it look easy on social media because we want it to appear that way. But in the same sense, it's not. And I feel like a lot of people have that perspective, I suppose.
I hear that a lot from real estate agents, and I think that's true for a lot of things, right? Social media is the highlight reel, and of course, like
Yes.
everybody wants to share the good parts, and that's okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes. But there's like, it's a double edged sword in a sense.
truly. What challenges are you seeing or facing in the real estate market right now, and how are you overcoming them?
I guess I would say, probably like most other agents, there's still a shortage of inventory. So it does make it can get competitive for home buyers, which puts a stress on them. Obviously, like I said, I feel the emotional toll that they do, when they have to increase their offer or, do these things. But on the realtor side of it, it really gives me the ability to use my tools, my negotiations, and figure out creative ways to get their offer accepted, no matter like what the price range, what they're looking to do. So I always love, like, no matter the situation, like what they're in financially or emotionally, like finding a way to make it work for them in their situation. um but yeah, it's still, when there's not that many houses on the market, it just all in all makes it a little harder for buyers, which is a little disheartening. But I love kind of flipping the side of that, and being able to put them in a position where they feel like they got, or not feel, where they did get a deal on their home, in such a hard and crazy market. When you're looking for like a month or two, or you've been nervous about the process, and you finally get your offer accepted, and you get some fantastic terms, or you get the inspection negotiated, or a price reduction. It's a really beautiful thing.
Can you think of a time where you had to be kind of especially creative with your buyers?
Oh yeah, all the time. Um, let's see if I can think of a time in particular. Yeah, I mean, there has definitely been time where we had to negotiate like a mix of, a price reduction as well as concessions to not only, get some stuff done from inspection. There was some things like the hot water tank being old that they had to, replace, which as a first time home buyer, or any buyer for that matter, as a main system in your home, you want that working when you move in. But they also needed some help on the financial end, right? So, we had to get some money not only reduced for their loan, but as well as for the inspection. And when you combine both of those things and are able to get them done, obviously it just puts your buyer in such a good position moving forward, which is nice.
Um, so like there is a lot of buzz about the current real estate market right now, especially with it being like an election year and things like that. Like, what would you say to people who are like maybe sitting on the fence or being like, whether they're a buyer or seller, and they're saying, well, I just want to wait and see what happens? What's kind of your thoughts on people who say that?
Oh man, I feel like it's always buy real estate and wait. you know, you want to get in the game sooner than later, because you never know what's going to happen. You might be waiting on, of course, interest rates to drop, and then they may go up. You just can't base your, like, what you need to do in life on like outside circumstances. If there is a will, there is a way. And if you need to move, or you're looking to move because you want to, you should make that happen if you're able to, and not wait for, like I said, that exterior world, you know? Because that'll hold you back a lot. If you've waited for interest rates to go back to 3%, you've been probably waiting for the past 3.5 years. So I would just say don't wait, because you don't want to regret it.
For sure. And I mean, on the same respect, like it, what you're waiting for, it could do the exact opposite, right? We don't have a crystal ball. So on your social media, I believe you also have posted about helping other agents get started on their real estate journeys. Like, what's that like for you?
So it's something I really enjoyed, because like when I first started in real estate, I obviously, you have all these big dreams and the things that you want to do, but when I started, I just didn't have like the confidence, or I didn't really think it was possible. You know what I mean? And when I started accomplishing, the things that I wrote in my manifestation journal, and the goals that I had wrote down were happening and I was making them real, I started to realize that I wanted to teach everybody else that they could do it as well. And real estate is just so fulfilling. So I love introducing people to this career, because it can open so many doors in so many different ways. And it's to me, it's one of those careers that makes you feel good. It has brought out the best in me. So I feel like if it's something that people are interested about, they should definitely try it, because it's it's definitely worth it. It's worth it to invest in yourself and to try it, because you never know where it could take you. I never thought that, starting, I just never thought I'd be here.
So when you're like walking someone through like what it takes to be a real estate agent, like what are you telling them? What are you covering?
So I bring it back to the foundations of what I learned when I started, and that's just like knowledge. I really immersed myself in the industry before I even got my license. I was working as, an assistant in the real estate office, because I just wanted to know what it looked like, as a full-time realtor, what other realtors were doing in their business, how they ran it. So I would just say, like, I always tell them to get involved in real estate as much as you can. Go to networking events, add realtors on social media. If you can shadow, a realtor, see their office, and just get involved. You want to know as much as possible about not only the industry, but of course, like how to help clients and how to sell. But that will come in time. So you just want to get involved.
And do you think there's anything about like your business that has changed since you've started mentoring? Like, is there things that you've learned about your business in helping others?
Yeah, I mean, so much. I have really great mentees underneath me. So I have learned that one, I like to do it. It is another sense of like fulfillment, being able to help others. For example, we're working together, but I have a newer agent and we working on this buyer together that she happens to know. And we're doing it together and we got the offer accepted this morning. And just like hearing her excitement and being able to like position her in the best spot has been so cool. And I guess I've learned, I don't know, what I've learned in myself in that is just like how much I like to help. I don't know. I feel like I'm not wording that in the best way, but it just like makes me happy to help them and see them happy. And, it makes me feel good about what I've learned in my business, that I'm able to pass on that knowledge, I guess.
Totally. And it's kind of full circle, right? I think real estate like attracts a lot of people with kind of the helper personality. Like, I don't know if you're into Enneagram or anybody listening is, but there is kind of that helper personality type. I'm a helper too. And I think it's just it all makes sense helping people get into houses, helping people start their careers. I think it's really beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It is really a beautiful thing, and that's why I recommend it to anybody that will listen to talk, like like if you don't want to buy or sell a house right now, if you thought about getting into real estate, like if you don't like what you're doing now, I don't know, you might love it.
Totally. And so many people do. They change their career, and for the better.
Yeah, and I tell people this all the time, that I feel so passionate to find what I love so young. I was so young when I started in real estate, and I know I'm going to do this forever. Like I love it, and that's a really beautiful thing to have early in life. So I'm grateful for that as well.
Did you face any challenges kind of starting right out of high school with being so, fresh in the business?
Absolutely. I can't. So luckily, it was a little bit after I was 19. So I mean, I was still very young, but I can't count how many times I've walked up to, a new client and they're like, "Are you even like old enough to do this?" And I was like, "Yes, I swear." Licensed, been doing this for a while now. But it's just one of those things where you really have to you have to have the confidence in what you know and what you bring to the table. Because people want to see that from you, and you really have to express and educate them on your knowledge so that they trust you and want to work with you, even though they might have hesitations because you are younger and newer to the industry. You just have to show them that you might be new or young, but you know what you're doing and you're good at it. And I've always been really confident in that. And I feel like that's helped me tremendously in my business.
Right. And then probably wrapping it full circle back, because full circle is the word of the conversation
Yeah,
today, back to social media. Like that's a great way for you to display your competence and your knowledge. And, some people are going to look to social media for credibility and other people won't, the generational differences, personality differences, but
yes.
it's really a great way for you to display your knowledge.
1,000%. Yeah, I would have to agree with that. And it's a beautiful thing because you can share the knowledge and get people excited about your business. And I feel like people also love to, follow along the journey of, where you started and, where you're going. I have found that, people love to support you and be part of that, which is also a really beautiful thing too, getting them involved, your audience.
So, Alexis, you mentioned journaling and goals. Do you have any goals that you set for this year that you'd like to share and like how they're going? We're a good chunk through the year now, over halfway.
We are. It went by fast. So I would say there was like two big goals that I had for the year. The first one being was really getting into new construction. So I had some clients of mine that started the process, right before the year started. So I was very excited to get them into a home, which I was able to do. And their build is actually wrapping up this Friday, which is fantastic. I'm so excited for them to get the keys. But I love the new construction market. That was such a fun process to be a part of. And I really realized that even though you're getting a new home, like how important it is to have buyer representation throughout stuff, like such a strenuous process. You know what I mean? And if you didn't have someone there um, to really guide you and be able to ensure that as the clients and the consumers that you are part of the process, and being more involved and like checking where things are at, it could have made a big difference. So I really want to tap into that, and I'm glad that I have been able to start that, I guess. Um, and then I guess the second one would be I always try to do better than the following year. So a big goal of mine was to close around 5 million for the year. And I'm on track to do so, which is so very exciting. Um, and yeah, I mean, like I said, just growth and my goals. I've followed them consistently throughout the year. So watching them, come close to fruition is very exciting. And like I said, I just try to do, better than I have every year and keep that growth. And so far, we're doing good. So I'm very proud of that. Very proud of my business so far for the year.
Excellent. Oh, that's so great to hear. I want to dig into this new construction thing a little bit because I don't know why I haven't thought about it much till now. So, I actually, when I was first out of college, worked for a single family home builder. And now that I'm thinking about it, now, and this was a while ago without like giving away my age. Um, but I don't think many people had an agent representing them at the time. They were dealing directly with the builder. And I
Hmm.
could see how having an agent would be so beneficial to be that kind of unbiased third party, to be that advocate. So, like, can we kind of dig into how maybe how representing like a buyer for a new construction may or may not be different than representing a buyer for an existing home?
Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest difference I would say is the longevity of it. So, when you're doing a new construction home, it could be anywhere from like a 6 month to year and a half build out, right? So, that becomes such a long process. You are involved in picking out absolutely everything, which is the most, exciting part of it, but that does become a lot. And having a professional, someone that sells and buys homes on your side, just part of like in that sense is it makes you feel like you have, again, someone on your side throughout this process. But my job as well is to ensure that they're able to check in on the process. So we were doing, regular check ins, which I feel like the best story to kind of highlight how you need buyer representation is we came for a walkthrough that wouldn't have been scheduled otherwise, because when you don't have buyer representation, you usually, and the builder told me this as well, you usually only see the home at like the initial, when you have like the drywall when it's framed, and then you have your after drywall, walkthrough, and then you're not seeing the home again until the day before that you close, essentially. So when you're part of, if you're not like consistently watching and part of the process, there could be issues. And the reason why I say this again, so we had a walkthrough scheduled. It was a Friday evening. I of course, got there a little bit early. And I walk in and so we're at the point where it's drywalled, but there's still no floor. It's just the subfloor, like the plywood. And there is, I would at least say like 50 gallons of water on my client's brand new or base floor. So, thank God that we had this walkthrough scheduled, and I was there on a Friday evening. So I called the builder, of course, their project manager, and they let us know that the drywall guys spilled a whole brute of water, a whole trash can's worth of water, and that they were working on it. But we had to I let me rephrase that, I had to negotiate with them to ensure that not only was that water taken care of but replaced. And if we weren't so thoroughly part of the process, that's something that they maybe not have addressed because the clients wouldn't have seen it.
I think this is really important to bring up because I mean, like a lot of us watch HGTV, we love it, right? And we
Yes.
watch these, flip and fix shows, and we even see, that those projects on TV, they have snafus. It just happens.
Yeah.
And having someone like yourself in this situation to kind of just be another set of eyes to triple check, like,
Mhm.
you know, and it's like you should never double check your own work, right? And
Yes.
that's, could be for the builder, that could be for the future homeowner. Like, you're the third party, checking to make sure, the fixtures are the right fixtures or the floor color is the right floor color, because like I've seen things get missed when I worked for a builder. I saw things
Yeah.
get messed up, and just having one more set of eyes on it can make a huge difference.
Right. And as the client, too, if you've never done a new build or a new construction, which a lot of people haven't when they're doing something like this, you don't even know what you could negotiate, what you have, the ability to really get done from them, which in itself is very important. You need to know, the guidelines, and having a professional represent you and behind you makes a world of a difference.
I also think new construction hits people different emotionally, right? Because there is that kind of customization aspect. Um, Buyers are very, very invested, and
Absolutely.
therefore very like emotional. And just circling back to the agent as the advocate, helping like listening to their thoughts and feelings and then communicating them effectively, on their behalf is huge.
Yes, and it makes it easier for everybody. It makes it easier for the client, the builder, the project manager, and it just makes for a smoother transaction. And it's a really beautiful thing to be a part of. And, if for anybody who's watching, if you've thought about new construction, it really is a fun thing to do. But just having someone on your side will make a world of a difference.
I think because it's such a long process. And the other thing, new construction, at least these days, because of the cost of materials, like you're at a certain price point, like you are making a big investment, and therefore, you want it perfect. And so I think that's what makes it really cool to have an agent involved in new construction and just kind of help shepherd along that process.
Yes, they can be your extra eyes, your boots on the ground, and it just makes it easier for them.
Alexis, do you have anything that you're looking forward to for the rest of the year? It doesn't have to be real estate related.
That is a good question. Honestly, I'm really excited to finish out the year in real estate. Hopefully reach the goals that I've set, which will be very, very fulfilling. But I would love to schedule a vacation. I feel like it's time. So maybe right before the year ends in December. My birthday is the 23rd of December. So if I could figure something out before Christmas, that would be ideal.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Maybe somewhere warm and tropical, get
My
get away from the
favorite.
Michigan winter.
Yes, it is my favorite thing to do. Get away in December.
I love it. Well, Alexis, do you have any other thoughts before we wrap up?
I don't think so. It was so fun to be on here, and I appreciate you listening to me ramble a little bit. No.
Oh, yes, thank you, Alexis. Would you like to tell people how they can find you, how they can work with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Alexis Sprankle, my full name, is on Facebook. And then my other social media is all sold by Sprankle on Instagram, TikTok, And if you go on my Instagram bio, I do have a link tree where you can book an appointment with me, buyer's consults, seller consults, and even for agents looking to work with me. So there's a lot of options there. And I do like to bring a lot of educational value to my social media. So I would just check it out if you're interested.
Awesome. And we'll link it all below so that everyone can find it super easy. Alexis, thank you so
Cool.
much.
Thank you. That was so fun.
Thank you for listening to the Closing Table podcast brought to you by WindowStill. I'm Kat Schooler. Please be sure you're following our podcast on Apple or Spotify. And if you're part of our YouTube audience, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're enjoying this podcast, please feel free to leave us a comment or review. It helps us find more amazing listeners like you. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.